Hi, this is a twin flame soul report. It is a very personalized reading that I have created where I pray to God on your behalf and ask for messages from God with respect to your twin flame journey. It is my sincere intent that everybody who is on their twin flame journey finds their highest love and highest destiny. So this client of mine has agreed for this reading to be shared online, and anybody who would like assistance on their twin flame journey can watch this video and understand what you can expect out of a personalized reading and coaching such as this, right? So let's get down to it. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to pull energies for this particular client of mine. I'm going to invite God, Father God and Mother God into this reading. So that everything that is in the highest good of said client should be revealed. So what I would like to first understand is where she and her twin are at currently on their twin flame journey, right? So I'm gonna pull some guidance for that. It's interesting. So the card that I got was it indicates that you are going through huge energetic shifts. When you're on the twin flame journey, you go through a Kundalini awakening, and as your energy body merges with your physical body, as you grow into your light, you go through a lot of changes in your physical life and physical body. So you are at this stage of your journey where you're going through deep upheaval right now. And this part of the journey is overwhelming you. But what you need to understand is that you are the cause of your energetic disruption, not your twin. And disruption is not something that is bad necessarily, right? Especially when you're moving towards something as sacred as your union with your twin flame. Because what you are aspiring for is exponentially better than what you could have ever imagined. And the message for you here is please understand that being with your twin flame is part of your life purpose. You have called for this journey. You are ready for this journey. What you need is some hand holding. And God is always leading you to the right sources. What I'm also getting for you is that you are looking outside of yourself for guidance. There's nothing wrong with that. We all look to others for support. However, what God wants you to know, that everything that you have intuited, that which is truly from your source, you know it to be true in your heart. You're going through a huge shift right now, not just energetically, but also in your environment is what I'm getting, like your living environment. I'm getting the word uprooted. And if you're not already going through it, that's probably something that's underway. I sense a lot of exhaustion, like physical exhaustion. But that is part of the energetic activation that you experience when you meet your twin. It triggers it triggers something very deep inside of you, right? I'm not going to go into the what's and ifs, because I get a feeling that you are aware of what you're going through, an awakening and a soul awakening. I'm not going to go into those details because I think you're aware to a certain extent about what you're going through. Your angels are trying to communicate with you. They would like you to be open. Check in with your heart-centered guidance and go within more instead of relying on the matrix is what I'm getting for you. Because personally on my twin flame journey, one of the greatest lessons that I had to go through was my twin would lie to me constantly about what he felt, about certain things that were happening in his life. I was clearly guided by God that he is going through a divorce, just from my knowing and reading of signs around me. And when I called and asked him about it, he said no, he's very much with his wife still. But I was clearly guided by God that nope, his wife is on her way out. And about 6 months later, when we met, I got to know that he had already filed for his divorce. And I went back and I checked some of my readings that I had done, and he let me know that, this is when she moved out. And I went back and I checked my readings. They were spot on, because my reading, and I have a habit of recording all of my readings, and God is encouraging you to all your channeling, to make note of it, because it's going to be helpful for you in your life purpose later. It's a message I'm getting for you. So, to stop relying on the physical world for evidence and to rely on God as absolute truth is the lesson that you're learning right now. And you'll keep going deeper and deeper into that lesson until you start to check in with God first before you trust anybody else. You also tend to get a bit ungrounded. And what I'm getting for you is I sense an affinity towards God is telling me that you can figure that out for yourself, how to ground yourself better. And stop being in your mind so much. And cultivate the awareness of your body. So those were the key messages from God. And now let's get down to specific questions that you had, right? So the first question that you had was, what does he, my twin, think about me in the 3D? And it's interesting, it's a star card. One more card as a confirmation. So two very beautiful cards, right? The star card is it's a very lucky and positive card to get for a question like that. And what I'm getting for you is he sees you as somebody I'm getting very mixed emotions on this. I'm just going to clarify this. I'm going to clarify this for you. There's something that he feels about you, and then there's something that he is trying to make you feel, which has nothing to do with what he actually feels about you. Right? That's what I'm getting. So let's clarify that, right? Let's break that down. What does he actually feel about it, right? Like what's on his heart space? And you're getting the King of Fire, so what I immediately get is and there's like a dragon over here, right? So it's a lot of passion. I sense a lot of passion consciously. And he's trying to shove it down. It's trying to shove it down, and the message here, amongst many other things, is focus, focus, focus. And that, to me, uh, speaks about he thinks of you and the feelings that he has for you as a distraction. He feels very weak. He thinks of it as weakness, but what it actually is just vulnerability, right? So he's kind of mistaking vulnerability for weakness. And it says communicate with vision and be a leader. So he's trying to be very he's trying to put himself together, have the situation under control. And what I'm getting is he's trying to wrap his twin flame around his little finger, because he is so scared of how vulnerable you make him feel that he's completely it's kind of sprung to the other side in trying to control the situation. What else do we have here? There's a lot of messages that I'm getting here. So getting on one hand, he wants to make it work, but he wants the entire relationship, equation, the emotions that arise. He wants a tight grip on the situation. And that's not how the twin flame journey works, right? Because the tighter that you hold on, you're pushing yourself to a situation where God will have to cause those tower moments to release your grip on the situation. We don't have to take it to such an extent where those tower moments happen. You can work with God consistently on an energetic level to clear unwanted energies before they even manifest. And he's calling some tower moments onto himself, is what I'm getting. Yeah, there you go, the death card. And I got the Ace of Swords again. So what I'm getting here is he's mistaking leadership for control. Yeah, so that's what this card was also, right? Communicate with vision and be a leader. But he's kind of got the concept. He doesn't get the true essence of leadership right now. He doesn't, because he feels being a leader means being in control, and there's so much more to leadership, right? And what I'm also getting for you is every time you kind of call out to him. It could be uh, it could be in the physical realm, or it could even be in your heart, and he gives you a sense that all is okay. But behind the curtain, what's really happening is that he feels there's a lot of armor right around him. It's like, but behind the fancy curtain, so to speak, he really feels dead inside. He really feels dead inside. And I'm going to come back to these two cards later. For some reason, the green is calling out to me. I don't know why. Let's ask more details on it. Okay, I'm getting something. Uh, Accept that everything happens in divine order. Sure, but I feel there's more. Okay, so what I'm getting is this, right? So, just hope you can see everything. Just check. Yeah. Okay. So for some reason, the green was calling out to me a lot, and what I'm getting is he's going through a lot of heart chakra clearing, and he too is going through a dark night of the soul, right? And the hardest thing for him to accept right now is that everything happens in divine order. So he's not able to accept that everything happens in divine order. He's not able to surrender. And God calls for a lot of surrender on this journey, right? Like, I was supposed to get some work. I had somebody that I said that I would meet today. Well, I hadn't confirmed it, but I was supposed to meet somebody today. And I was all set on, heading there and, letting them know that this is what I have worked on. This is a project that I'm working on with my twin. So this is, we're working on our life purpose together. We're working on a fund that will fund socially worthy causes and invest in consciousness healing related businesses. And I was supposed to meet somebody important related to that. I was supposed to work on that presentation, and I've been trying to do this for the last couple of days, right? But God is leading me in a completely different direction. I mean, yeah, sure, that project is definitely something that we are working on, but God is asking me to wait for until the 4th of March for some reason. I don't know why. And instead, she asks me to put this part of our business together, where he wants me to, create mini courses uh, on different aspects of divinity, right? There's sort of make God more accessible to the generation today, so to speak. And over the last 1 week, especially, I'm the sort of person who's really private, and I've been working with the cards for some time, and they've been extremely accurate for me. But I never ever intended to make a professional business out of this. It was only for me to, I just assumed that the uh, the social impact fund is something that we're going to be working on, and but God is telling me that I have more for you, and this triggers a lot of fear of judgment for me. Kind of putting myself out there. And God is calling me to release all notions around. I have this tendency, like from when I was a child, like I always try to be the good child. And God is telling me, stop being the good child and start being the divine child. I'll tell you what to do, and just live from your heart. And for the masculine energy, I kind of get why that might be difficult to do, because it's not that God wants to make a fool out of you, but there's divine purpose behind everything, right? So maybe something else needed to fall into place. Maybe me meeting that person today would have just been a waste of my time and their time. And probably over the next couple of days, there's something else that's going to come into my consciousness that will enable a more productive meeting when I meet them on the 4th. So this is something that he is struggling with. And I'm going to pull out some cards for you to understand what is your side of the situation, what is your side of the mirror, so that you are not dependent on him healing this issue, right? Because the only person you're ever in control of is yourself. So let's see where you can work on yourself that will enable a shift in this situation. But before that, what I'm getting for you is, I guess this is why I pulled this card. So this is the mirror for this situation, and the affirmation for you here is, I accept responsibility for my well-being. And the deeper truth here is that this is something that I've wholeheartedly accepted for myself, that I am 100% responsible for my twin flames behavior. And that's something big, right? Especially when they behave really badly. But you need to understand that the twin flame mirror is so perfect. And I've seen this, and I've personally gone through it as well, this narcissist, empath kind of enmeshment. And as long as I kept being the victim, he kept being this narcissistic. He wasn't a bully as such, but he was very possessive and very possessive, but not disclosing his true feelings. And I was like, okay, let's give him some time. And he would go crazy about the fact that I would move away, and he would be mean, and he would be, sometimes verbally abusive. And I'm not the sort of person who would, even be rude to somebody. Yet I accept 100% responsibility for my twin flame's behavior. So my side of the mirror was that I was giving all of my power away to him. Right? I made my twin flame my god. Your twin flame doesn't know everything. No matter how much they behave as though they have everything under control. It's a lot of masks that I see. So I think you personally would benefit from healing issues in your solar plexus, right? That's what I see for you. I'm just going to pull a confirmation card on this from the chakra healing deck. I'll probably read out to you from the guidebook as well. Very nice. So there you go. 2 cards. Play and personal power. It's your confirmation. So this is what he's going through. His heart chakra issues. And the mirror for you is this, right? So he needs to sort of surrender to his twin flame, to divine love. See how these dolphins are, very playful, very loving. I really love the dolphin energy. And that's kind of how I relate to God as well, right? Very playful, very... And every time I speak to God about anything, any question that I have, I kind of have a very divine child kind of a relationship with God, like a very I'm like, hi God, how are you? Now, this is what I want to understand, what you want me to do. And that's the kind of relationship that God is trying to develop with his son, your twin flame. But you don't need to wait for him to do that, right? So this is so perfect confirmation that we got from the chakras as well. So all you need to do is focus on yourself and really come into your power. And I'm going to read from the guidebook for you. But what I'm getting is you would also benefit from, I think you can just get onto YouTube and pull out any solar plexus meditation, a healing or meditation that calls out to you, and I think there are many of them out there. Personal power. Right, so I'm going to read out to you. You have called upon this card today because it is time to step fully into your power. We are living a truly exciting time here on earth, and we are all encouraged and invited to live more from a place of empowerment. Over time, we have learned to hand over our power to other people and situations, which has created imbalance and inequality. Sometimes, we feel like other people know what is best for us and the situation at hand. And this, I'm kind of underlining this point, right? And due to a lack of self-love and honor, we give our power over to them. It is now time to connect to your own wisdom, love, and personal power. Everything you require is within you. And there's a bunch of other stuff, but I think that's all that God wanted you to know. That everything that you need is within you, including manifesting your twin flame union, one more question. Just look up what the other question was. I think your second question was what is the advice for me regarding this situation, which I've already covered. And the last question that you had was move on or wait, right? And there's a reason I pulled this card, right? So the clear guidance for you is to be on your twin flame journey. Your twin flame is your strength, if you choose to see it that way. He really is leading you to your highest. And what I'm getting for you is your gentleness and kind nature has the power to tame the beast, so to speak, right? Here you see this lady, she is so gentle, so tender, and there's this mighty, majestic lion here, and she's just kind of, sort of caressing him, and this mighty beast that could be perceived as dangerous. It's kind of melting with her love. See, logic doesn't really work with your twin flame, right? And when you're vulnerable with your twin flame, without expecting a response from them, might I add, every time you're very vulnerable with them, and don't expect a response when you communicate, they melt. That really calls out to them. The only time that they get freaked out is when you kind of push for a response. It spikes his heartbeat is what I'm getting. They kind of get very worried about what to say, and so many feelings come up that they, I'm just gonna pull some more cards for you. The overall guidance. For some reason, yeah, I didn't read this card yet, right? For some reason it's there. I want some more guidance for this. Yeah. And we get the card past lives for you. Healing your past lives will raise your vibration. So here's the thing about past lives, right? What I've noticed on my journey is that sometimes you kind of tend to get stuck up in the whole story of it. And the story doesn't really matter, right? So it's an energy that's uncomfortable for you. Something really uncomfortable is coming up. Just let it go. You don't need to really examine something that you don't like to wipe it off. On the other hand, I have been called to go into a lot of detail in my past lives because I have life purpose around it. To explain how to clear these things and to understand how, I had a lot of issues with my birth family. From the time I was a child, I felt a lot of disconnect with my birth family. to the point of view of like to the point of fear, right? There was a lot of traumatic experiences with my mother in a past life. I was called to go into specific details because you know part of my life purpose is to also write a book. So follow your own guidance. But for the most part, if it is just about clearing and raising your vibration, I think the story of the past life doesn't matter. And I'm gonna pull one last card for you. And I'm gonna close with this, right? And the card that we get is the impossible made possible. So however unlikely that you think it is that your twin flame is ever gonna love you or say anything, and this is a clear confirmation for you that just focus on God. And this as well, right? Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. So focus, if you already have a clear idea about what your mission is, that's great. Otherwise, you can just, you can say, I choose to live my highest destiny and life purpose now. I ask for God to show me the way. And you surrender into it and wait for the signs. Oh, that's very nice. And you get the Fool card, which is a very dreamer. I get a very dreamer, entrepreneur, winner kind of an energy. So if you're being called to, start a new business or create some professional services out of your gifts, it's probably a good time. And very interesting. And I wanted to pull another card which would be a confirmation for you about this, and I'm getting the Empress card. So a very positive, it's almost like a green signal from God that focus on your life purpose. And a lot of times I've noticed that when one of the twins goes deeper into their life purpose, it creates shifts in the other twin with respect to the romantic union. So whatever the deeper reason might be, right, your life purpose is kind of going to lead you home. So I'm going to close the reading with that. Thank you.